I mean, they know what's good. Australia, particularly. Both Dwight Yoakam and Jimmy Buffett both played, and Jerry Jeff Walker all toured Australia, and none of them were very happy with it. They didn't really connect. And then I've been there enough times to be prime minister. I've been there about 20 times, and I've been there 2 or 3 times with Billy Joe Shaver and with Willie, and you know the Aussies, they love Billy Joe Shaver, they love Willie, they love Joe Ely, they love Waylon. They just kind of, you know, they are not like Americans. Americans will go for whatever. I hate to say they're a smarter country audience, but I think they do know more about country.
Yeah.
You want to find something out about Lefty Frizzell? Go to some radio station in Australia or New Zealand. They'll have the record. They'll know.
And you've also, Kinky, been known as a poetic and powerful songwriter throughout the years. And why do you think your the songs that you have written have had such an impact on people?
Well, all I've really gotten out of it is there's 2 tribute albums to me that are out now, and I know of no living artist that has 2 tribute albums, and he's not even dead. So that's good. But they all came about 10 minutes too late to make any difference. You know, not really a financial pleasure for the Kingster.
Sure.
But, you know, I haven't written a song, Paul, in longer than you've been alive. And so I write books now. But when I do shows in London or Dublin or someplace, almost the entire audience is younger than the songs, and they know all the lyrics. I mean, they know all the songs. So that's very nice. It's a good feeling.
And you've had such fabulous songs, Ride 'Em Jew Boy, Nashville, Casualty in Life, Sold American, and I think probably my favorite song of yours is People Who Read People magazine. We heard that a few minutes ago. I just love that song.
Yeah, well,
the words.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I still hear, you know, as I'm writing prose and writing books and stuff, I do hear music in my head still. But I just don't write anymore. But then again, you know, you could argue that, ask yourself whether Christopherson or Willie Nelson or Bob Dylan could really write any great songs anymore.
Yeah.
When was the last really great song they wrote? You'd probably have to go back quite a while.
Yeah, at least probably 20 years or more.
That's what I think. That's what I think. People tell me Bob Dylan's new albums are great. No, but you know, they might be great because he's a brand now. You know, I mean, people come to see Bob Dylan, but I don't think the young people there know his early stuff. In fact, I'm sure they don't. Very few of them do. Everybody's not retro, you know, like you are, Paul.
Oh, well, thank you. And you mind if we kind of switch tracks a little bit, talk a little bit about politics here?
Sure.
And you become a high-profile political figure over the past few years, and you ran an independent campaign for the governorship of Texas in 2006, and I believe you actually became the first independent gubernatorial candidate to be on the ballot in Texas since Sam Houston in 1859.
That's correct. Yeah, that was a great moment. It took us a year and a half to get there, by which time we were broke and fresh out of charm and worn out, and then the Crips and the Bloods came at us. By that, I mean the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yeah, but you were sort of unofficially endorsed by both Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. And the fact is, it's a government of the money, by the money, and for the money. And without it, you're not going to get too far in a big state. Now, I might have done really well in Vermont or Minnesota or someplace like that. But in Texas, California, New York, you've got to be a Crip or a Blood. And if I do it again in 2010, it will be as a Democrat.
So what drove you to run?
Well, I didn't like what was happening to Texas, and I still don't. I don't like the fact that we're 50th in health care coverage right now. And I don't like the fact that we're executing somebody every 2 weeks on average. And we have no idea. You know, George Bush says he's comfortable we've never executed an innocent man. But I don't know how he would know that. We've never bothered to DNA death row. So all I can tell you is I know we've never executed a rich man. That's never happened.
Yeah. And another issue that you've spoken out a lot about is illegal immigration. Would you mind taking us through the the Kinky Friedman plan to stop illegal immigration?
Yeah, I offered a plan that, and by the way, this is something that Texas is just going to have to do for itself. I mean, we can't wait for the feds. We've been waiting for them for 154 years, and they haven't done anything yet. The plan I offered was called the 5 Mexican Generals Plan, where you divide the border area into 5 jurisdictions, and you assign a Mexican general in charge of each, and you give each man whatever it is, $1 million, say, and you hold that in escrow for him. And then every time an illegal comes through his section, you withdraw $5,000. And what this would do would effectively cut off illegal immigration into Texas, and it wouldn't cost anything but $5 million, which would be well worth it. And people have heard this plan. Well, I told the plan to John McCain, and he said that it's probably better than anything we've got going right now. And the truth is, it's the way you have to think.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're doing is not working. The feds cannot build a fence. They don't know how. They can't evacuate New Orleans. And there's very little that they can do.
So you wouldn't support a fence across the entire border?
Well, I'm for whatever it takes. I mean, the border has got to be secure before we do anything. And I argued with Jesse Ventura, the former governor of Minnesota, was down here helping campaigning with me. And of course, he looked like some kind of crazy pirate at that time. I don't know how much he helped us, but he did help us with young people. And there's no doubt about that. And Jesse's a really good, savvy, smart guy who cares. And Jesse pretty well talked me out of the fence because his point was 10 years from now, we might want to get out of here.
True. And I never thought of it that way.
Well, it's true.
But it's also a national security issue, the illegal immigration issue. It's kind of tied in together because we have no idea who's getting across the borders in Mexico, in a lot of places.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the fact that we can't control our borders and all these other countries do is ridiculous. And the fact that we're letting people, I mean, this is it's not fair for a lot of reasons. It's not fair to the people that are coming over, the refugees, the immigrants, the illegal immigrants. They're trying to feed their families, most of them, almost all of them. They come from poverty, and we really take advantage of them, and they become a whole class of indentured servants. Mm-hmm. So first secure the border, then give them a taxpayer ID card that they have to pass a background check for. And after that, if you catch an illegal with an employer, sock it to that employer big time. That little combination of steps, those 3 steps, would do it.
And I guess, Kinky, would you mind giving us your take on the recent presidential election? I know you've done it quite a few times on television and on the radio with Don Imus and Bill O'Reilly, but...
Well, I started out with Hillary.
Like me.
Then I moved to McCain, and just before the end, I had an epiphany and went to Obama. So it sounds like Imus. It sounds very fickle.
Yes.
But it's not. I think Hillary probably would have been the best president of the 3. And I like McCain very much and have hung out with him a bit, but it just wasn't his time. Everything was going against him.
Yeah.
And so now we have to pray that Obama is what I hope he is, which is a good centrist guy that, Reverend Wright might have been correct, that he will do anything to say, he'll say or do anything to get elected, just like any politician does. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
And now his job is to continue to inspire people like he did in the campaign.
I just hope he is strong on national security. I know Hillary would have been. I know John McCain would have been. But I don't know. I hope Obama will be. But
well, I think his appointment of Rahm Emanuel at least shows, as far as my concern about Israel, being a fellow Red Sea pedestrian, being of the Jewish persuasion, I was concerned about him throwing Israel under the bus because of all the Muslim influence in his life, which is huge. And a lot of people in his life that hate America and no doubt hate Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was concerned about that. But appointing Rahm Emanuel, who lost his older brother who fought for Israel.
And he also fought, too.
Yeah, well, he's a Zionist. Appointing him is good. Now, as long as he doesn't appoint 12 mullahs to the cabinet, I think we're okay.